said, empty your mind.
Hey everybody, my name's Master Wahnish and I welcome you to today's video. Once again, you can call me Sifu Wahnish, Master Wahnish, Sifu John, doesn't matter to me. I want you here, having a good time, taking your mind off some of the things going on in the world today, learning some good Wing Chun Kung Fu. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I'll be answering as many questions as I receive, so leave your comments and questions down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you haven't already, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, 1-inch punch that bell notification, and give the video a thumbs up if you could. That would be great. I'd greatly appreciate it. Now, I did get one question, actually a few questions. One of the questions I got was about how we stand in a combat situation. And I answered this a few videos ago. I'm just gonna briefly repeat it. You'll see a lot of Wing Chun practitioners kind of taking this stance here, and you see them kind of like, you know, going like this in these fighting situations. Do I recommend that? No, I don't. So I'm not saying you can't do that, but simply in a situation, somebody's coming up to me and they're saying something, hey, I'm gonna kick your butt, man, let's, you know, what's going on? You know, my hands go up. My angle, my center away, I protect my center line. I don't stand like this. I don't go toe to toe, chest to chest. I don't get in a push and shove match. Somebody pushes me, I will probably return fire immediately. I don't get in this game of push or shove, but my hands are gonna come up, hey, I don't want any trouble. And I'm gonna start cutting some angles. Relax. I'm gonna keep my vision on those elbows and knees, the weapons that can hurt me. And I explained why we watch the elbows and knees, and I got into that in a previous video, which you should watch. If you're not familiar where to put your vision in combat, definitely watch that video. Hey, I don't want any trouble, relax. And as I mentioned prior, I might be telling myself to relax too, because when you're in these situations, it can be a little nerve-wracking if you're not used to it. So telling him to relax, your attacker to relax. Another thing is I'm looking around for other attackers because I'm assuming they're not alone and they have friends. So, hey, I don't want any trouble, relax. I'm moving, I'm getting out of range, I'm cutting angles, I'm making myself a harder target for them. And then if they want to come in, they're really going to have to step in, overcommit, and it's going to give me a lot of windows of opportunity to attack. So my hands come up. If I'm like this, hey, I don't want any trouble, that's the same thing as if I'm in this stance or this stance. Right? It's just I'm protecting myself. I'm not necessarily giving away I know Kung Fu, and I'm filling space and I'm ready to go. Now, if they had a knife, a weapon was involved, that's a different conversation. My hands would be more probably back, giving them a bigger target, ready to sidestep and deal with that blade. I don't want to have my hands out if there's a blade for them to just slice my hands. That's a whole nother conversation where we can get into weapons. So in confrontation, my hands simply come up, I'm protecting myself, putting my vision where I need to be. I'm also aware of my surroundings, and I'm ready to go from there. And I'm very fluid, I'm able to move, relax, you know, do what I need to do. I'm not kind of stuck into some position here, right? Trying to give some telltale signs. Now everybody's different, many Sifus are different, they teach different things. That's just my 2 cents on how I handle that situation. Another question that was asked is the use of wall bags, using the wall bags to condition your hands. Now, I really believe like iron palm training, there's a 100-day training course I do where I'm working on striking some big bags. They can have beans or pellets or BBs. In Florida, we used to have this big iron palm table with dit dot jow, so you would do 7 minutes of striking and then 7 minutes of putting your hand in this heated dit dot jow solution, which is an herbal formula that increases qi and blood flow and reduces bruising and swelling. So it was a series of hitting these pads and then putting your hand in the solution and then going back and hitting the pads, and you would switch. And it was a really slow process, and you would slowly over time build up your power and your speed and your strength, and you're moving energy out the center of your body. So it's a series of strikes that you would do on these pads, and over time it would get stronger. And at the beginning it was very light, and at the end you were really rocking those pads and the table, and your hands did feel like iron. It conditioned your hands slowly over time. So when you're looking at anything for conditioning, understand that that's nothing that's going to start off at 10 and maintain that. You're starting off at a 1 and over time building your strength up. So you wouldn't want, if you had a wall pad, you don't want to just start striking that thing as hard as you can. You're going to wind up doing some damage to your hands. Now is not a time to wind up in the hospital. If you break a bone in your hand and your finger, you're going to want to make sure that is going to heal properly. Therefore, you're going to need an x-ray, and now is not a time to be in the hospital. So you really want to take it slow and easy. So can those be used for conditioning? Yes, but remember, that's a slow game. It's a slow process, working on striking, and over time, over weeks, picking up the power, not over days. You're slowly taking your time. Now, what I really love about those wall pads, I remember I had the 3-tier Bruce Lee wall pad, and what I really loved about that is it was a great tool for working on 1-inch punching and not pulling back with your punch. So what I would do is get in a front stance. This is the pad, I'd have my hand here, and then just work on this, boom, 1-inch punching from here. And therefore, you're not gonna hurt your hand because you're not pulling all the way back and hitting a hard surface. Because those wall pads, if they're the one I'm thinking of, they're very hard. Even that 3-tier Bruce Lee one, or the ones that are just pads, those are really hard. You wouldn't want to, cock back and really deliver a blow to that. You could really mess your hand up. But they're great for working on your 1-inch punch. And they're great for working on punching without pulling back to hit. Because remember, if my hands are here, boom, I'm punching right from here. I'm not pulling back and then hitting. And that's where those wall pads, I think, are phenomenal. They build your 1-inch punching. They slowly can condition your hand over time. But more importantly, you're also just working on not pulling back. So you can sit there and work on this, and then you can put this hand here, and then you get in a front stance and get a little hip rotation into it. But you do have to be extremely careful with those, because just like with anything, you can get injured, and this is just not a time to be injured. You want to keep yourself healthy, safe, and out of the hospital. So my recommendation is use the wall pad with caution. If you're thinking of using it for conditioning, slowly build up your power. Most importantly, I'd be utilizing it for 1-inch punching and practicing what we do with the 1-inch punch, punching from here straight out and never pulling your hand back. So I hope those answers your questions. Once again, if you do have questions for me, please leave some questions down below. I'd love to answer them for you. I hope everybody is well, doing safe, and I look forward to seeing everybody in the next lesson. Thank you.